Welcome to this week's Forex forecast. Make sure you let me know in the comments down below what pairs you're watching this week, and I hope you enjoy the video. All right, starting things off with the US dollar index. The past week, the banks added 1,400 longs, and they also added 103 short positions. Looking at the daily chart here on the US dollar, we are still stuck between demand and supply. This has been ranging on the daily chart now since back at the beginning of March. So it's even more of an indication that buyers and sellers are struggling to decide, which one takes over. If we look at a weekly chart here, we are still reacting off of this weekly area of supply right here. So until this daily area of demand or supply is removed, we will not know where price is headed. I've been talking about this in the last few Forex forecasts, where if demand gets broken like this, it's most likely will be going down, and if supply gets broken, it's most likely will be going up and be breaking that weekly supply. So still just waiting on this daily chart on the DXY to give the ultimate decision of what direction the US dollar is headed in. All right, so it's the beginning of April, and that is the best time to sign up for the Patreon membership if you were looking to sign up and get my supply and demand zones on a regular basis. That way you can get the whole month of April for your money, or you can always sign up for the YouTube membership as well, and your payments could be whenever the day you signed up. So definitely check out the YouTube or Patreon membership if you want to use my zones throughout the week on a daily basis. A lot of members are using them and having a great time taking confirmation trades and set and forget trades off of my zones. So anyways, on to the euro. The past week, the banks got rid of 7,000 longs and they got rid of 4,500 short positions. Looking at the daily chart here of the euro, we are still kind of ranging here. We almost made it to this daily area of supply, but we did not. But we can safely say that daily supply is somewhat in control right now. So if you want to get in long, which I don't really recommend, I would target either this daily supply at 1.12 or a little bit higher at 1.12516. If you want to go short, I would target maybe around 1.085. So looking at a 4-hour chart, first keep in mind that the weekly trend is down on the euro. Same with the daily trend. So all trades essentially should be to the short side. If you look at a 4-hour chart here, we have a pretty significant 4-hour area of demand right here. Now, you could use this zone for a 15-minute or a 5-minute confirmation. I think that that's fine, but profits should be taken somewhat early. I would look to aggressively bump your stop loss up if you do get in on a confirmation trade from this 4-hour area of demand. And you might be asking why. Well, here's the reason. Like I just said, we have a weekly downtrend, daily downtrend, right? So this 4-hour uptrend we're seeing right now on the euro could simply just be a retracement for that big push down. And in last week's forecast, I talked about how it's possible we see a move up and then a push down. So definitely go check out last week's forecast for that reason. So like I said, if you do want to get in long, profits should be taken early, and I'd be very careful getting long in this area, but it is a significant buying area where you could look for a quick little 1-to-1, maybe even a 2-to-1 confirmation trade inside of there. If you do want to get in short, I would highly suggest waiting for that 4-hour supply to be removed. Maybe there will be a 4-hour demand to be removed, hopefully leaving a 4-hour area of supply where we can look to get involved to the short side and continue to trade with that weekly and daily downtrend. All right, looking at gold, and in last week's forecast, I talked about how it might be best to wait for this supply to be removed before getting in long on gold. And little do we know that that prediction actually was pretty accurate, where this 4-hour supply actually held and we broke down even further. So that's why I think it's very important to actually pay attention to my forecasts and listen to what I'm saying, because I think it's very relevant, and this could have saved you from getting in long on gold. So hopefully you guys listen to that, and hopefully we can actually get a trade in on gold soon. So looking at the call reports here, we have the banks. They got rid of 1,000 long positions and they got rid of 10,592 short positions. If we come over to a daily chart on gold, we're kind of just ranging out here. We haven't fully contacted this daily area of supply just yet. If you do want to get in long, I would target about $2,020 an ounce, or just before this daily area of supply. If you want to get in short, I would target 1882 to keep it very simple. Now, I think looking for a 1-hour confirmation in here would be fine if we get to that daily area of supply, but I'm just not seeing a lot of setups, and we are in fact still in this weekly area of demand. So the thing to keep in mind, if you aren't familiar with supply and demand, weekly demand is stronger than any daily supply or any shorter time or smaller time frame areas of selling. So weekly demand's in control, and that's a very strong area of weekly demand as well. So I'm still going to be looking for, long positions. I didn't really see any quality setups here at all. So what I'm actually going to be doing is waiting for this supply to be taken out, hopefully leaving a 4-hour demand zone right here we can look to get involved in. But until that happens, I have no interest in trading gold right now. It's just not really looking that great on the lower time frames. Yes, we are in weekly demand, like I said. Let me draw that out right here. So we are in weekly demand, but buyers haven't really picked it up and showed that they want to move price higher, right? They got rid of this zone, but then remember last week I said wait for that zone to be removed, and it couldn't happen. So sellers are still technically in control in the lower time frames. We just need to see that significant shift in momentum to the long side before hopping in long on gold. And like I said, I don't really recommend shorting gold right now based on weekly demand being in control. But if you do, make sure that it's a quality setup, and make sure to take profits somewhat early. USDJPY, the past week the banks added 2,200 long positions and they got rid of 21,000 short positions. Daily momentum is clearly still up. If you do want to get in long, I would target 1.25. Short, I would target about 120. Now, we have seen USD yen react to the downside in the past week. Well, why is that? Well, it's because of this weekly area of supply that I've had drawn out for quite a long time for YouTube and Patreon members, and I guess for you guys as well. So you can clearly see it price wicked right into our supply zone and bounced away. But we still have a weekly trend, and this trend is extremely strong. So I would still be looking for buying opportunities even though we are in that weekly area of supply. Now, the best indication that price will be going higher is if we actually get this 4-hour area of supply removed like this. So I would at least wait for something like this, possibly leaving a demand zone right here, and then we can look to get involved on a 4-hour zone like that if that happens. Or you could just wait for a simple 4-hour uptrend like this and look to day trade the lower time frames. But until then, I really don't see any possible setups. If you come down to a 1-hour chart, we did have that 1-hour downtrend, and there were a few zones that worked. Like this 1-hour supply zone worked pretty well at first, but ultimately momentum did end up shifting. So we do have a little 1-hour zone right here, but I don't really recommend doing that. Like I said, I think all decisions should be made around that 4-hour chart and waiting for that 4-hour supply to be taken out before placing a long entry. And as far as short entries go, yes, we are in higher time frame like weekly supply, but the weekly trend is so strong, I do not feel like trading against that trend, and I think that would be a mistake. If you guys are enjoying this video and find this video helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new to my channel, and leave me a comment down below which pair you're watching this week or if you have any questions at all. Be much appreciated. Hopefully you guys can hit that like button for me for the YouTube algorithm. And as always, if you guys want all other Forex pairs forecasts, check out the Tier 2 membership on Patreon or YouTube. Anyways, looking at the call report for the British pound, GBPUSD, the past week the banks got rid of 2,100 longs and they added 697 short contracts. If you do want to get in long, I would target before this daily supply right here at about 1.33. To the short side, I would target right around 1.3, I think is fair. So we do have that daily downtrend still. I think looking for 1-hour supply confirmation in this daily supply is a good idea. We just haven't been able to get up there just yet. Keep in mind, we do have that weekly downtrend on the British pound. So trades should be to the short side, in my opinion. Yes, you will get these up moves on the lower time frames like this on a 1-hour chart, but it's higher odds to be trading with that weekly downtrend and the daily downtrend as well. So right now, I'm actually not seeing a whole lot of setups on the British pound. Since I don't really recommend getting in long, I can't really say that there's any quality demand levels here. But if we do get a break of this 4-hour zone right here and get a zone right here, I think that 4-hour zone will be decent to possibly look for a 15-minute or a 5-minute shorting confirmation entry like that. Now there is a 1-hour supply zone right here. You could look for 5-minute confirmation in here, but this is not really a high odds setup in my opinion, based on there being not really a trend. I guess there is some sort of downtrend in the 1-hour, But on the 4-hour, there really isn't a trend and price is just going sideways. So I'd be very careful trading this one right now. I think we just need to wait for price to go a little bit lower before getting in a short position. And like I said, as far as longs go, I don't see any setups at all. And you'd be trading against that higher time frame trend, which I do not recommend. All right, on to USDCAD. The past week, the banks got rid of 290 long contracts and they added 3,100 short contracts. And remember, this call report spreadsheet is available on Patreon if you sign up for a yearly membership. So we are reacting off daily demand here on the USDCAD. If you do want to get in long, I would target just about 1.26. Short, I would target about 1.24. So not a lot of trading decisions should be based on this daily chart based on there being no trend. Even the 4-hour chart is looking very strange. So this is actually a pair where, I'm not even really going to go over it that much. There's just not much going on here. It's very difficult to make any trading decisions. Yes, we do have that 1-hour uptrend on USDCAD, but the problem with that is the overall picture is looking very, very weak on USDCAD. So just not any clear trading decisions here. And on my YouTube channel, I'm not like a lot of the other YouTubers where I'm always going to say there's a setup just to please you guys. I'm being completely honest. I do not see any setups here, and USDCAD is certainly not on my watch list to be trading this week. AUDUSD, the Aussie dollar. The past week, the institutions added 10,213 long contracts, and they also added 8,600 short positions. If you do want to get in long, I would target 0.765. Short, I would target before this daily area of demand at 0.743. Now, this is a pair that is definitely on my watch list. I'm actually going to mark it green right now. So to put it very simple, I think I've talked about this in the last forecast. I am waiting for this daily demand to be hit where I will look for 1-hour confirmation. Now, why am I looking to get in long at this daily area of demand specifically? Well, we have that beautiful daily uptrend. That's one thing. If you look at a weekly chart, we've clearly lost momentum on the weekly time frame here, where we are actually getting a new area of demand formed right here. It's not the best area of demand, but it is, a very large area. But this weekly downtrend has shifted. Plus, we have that daily uptrend, so I'll be looking for that 1-hour confirmation. That's all I would recommend doing right now on Aussie US dollar. The only other thing I guess I could recommend, so I guess it's two things, is if looking at this 4-hour chart, if we do get a continuation of this trend by removing these highs, where this uptrend will continue, then we could be looking for set and forget entries on a 15-minute, 5-minute, or a 1-minute chart. But until then, I will be waiting for that daily demand to be hit, where I will then look for long opportunities. And if you don't know what confirmation or set and forget trading is, check out my supply and demand tips playlist video, or comment down below and I can answer any one of your questions. So either waiting for that 4-hour trend to continue or hopefully waiting for that daily demand to be hit where we can look for a nice little 1-hour confirmation trade to the long side. USDCHF, the Swiss franc. The past week, the banks added 435 longs and they got rid of 2,700 short positions. In the last couple Forex forecasts, I cannot lie, I was talking about how I was looking to get in long at this daily area of demand right here. Now, there were a few setups, but I never really saw anything that great, and I'll actually go and show you guys that in a minute. Now, if you do want to get in long, I would target before this daily supply at 0.93. Short, I would target 0.916. Now, I will be looking for a 1-hour confirmation trade coming off of this daily area of supply. Why? Well, to me, this daily demand was very significant right here, and that was actually removed by this supply. So I'll be looking for shorts in that daily area of supply. Another reason is if you look at a weekly chart, weekly supply is in control. It's been tested a few times, but weekly supply is in control, and I'm very interested in possibly hopping in short on the USD Swiss based on that. And in last week's forecast, I talked about how if there was a 4-hour demand right here that was created that broke this trend line, I would look to get involved in that area. And there was a demand zone here. Didn't really like the basing here, and to me, price moved a little too far away for me to get involved here. So if you got in there, I think it's a decent setup, but ultimately it never really ended up working out. So now I'll be flipping to short bias. So I'm just waiting for that daily supply to be hit, and then I will start to look for that 1-hour shift in momentum. All right, last but not least, crude oil. The past week, the banks got rid of 16,000 long positions and they added 4,700 short positions. We got a nice move up from this daily area of demand on oil, but couldn't really get too far, and now we actually headed back down for a second test at this daily area of demand. So if you do want to get in long, I would target about 120 a barrel. If you do want to get in short, I would basically take profits right inside this daily area of demand right there. And why are we seeing oil push down? Well, it's very simple. We are reacting off of this weekly supply again. That's why I was suggesting, you know, maybe buying oil down here, not up here. So that is the difference here. So if we get that pullback on oil down lower, I think it'd be good for a buying opportunity again on oil, since I do believe oil will be, you know, most likely going higher. So don't really recommend trading this one right now. Yes, we have trends on the lower time frames where you could be day trading the lower time frames, but we are about to come to this daily area of demand again, which is actually a weekly buying area as well. So not too much to see here on oil. What I would be looking for a long opportunity is to hopefully wait where we can get a cleaner trend line like this, where we can have that ability to draw the trend line, and then waiting for that 4-hour confirmation coming off of that weekly area of demand down here, where we can get in long to the long side. I don't really recommend shorting oil right now. If you do, I would be looking to do it on the lower time frames and be taking profit early. And why do I say that? Well, because look at the strength of oil here. There's absolutely no evidence of it slowing down. Yes, if you want to just look at this section here, it looks weak, but it's always important to look at the bigger picture. So any dip buying opportunities should be used as, you know, dip buying opportunities. So just waiting for oil to come lower, and then hopefully going to find that nice shift in momentum on a 4-hour chart to hop in to the long side. Hopefully you guys found this weekly Forex forecast helpful. If you did, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like and check out the Patreon or YouTube membership if you need help finding your supply and demand zones. It's only $5 CAD per month. Hope to see you guys there, and hope to see you in the next video.